My name is Nathaniel and I'm an online content creator, which is a super vague term that could mean just about a million different things depending on who you ask. I'm in a constant pursuit to better connect with people around the world, and right now what it looks like is audiovisual material on social media and my newsletter. When I began making stuff, and especially when I began trying to share stuff on the internet, I could not shake this feeling of insecurity. I kept having thoughts like, what do I have to offer the world that's original, right? There's already so much out there. It feels like every platform is saturated. Everything's been done already. What do I have to contribute? And I think this is a feeling and a series of thoughts so many of us have come across or face currently. And what I would like to offer is just a series of thoughts, a series of potential responses to remind yourself to break out of that negative thought cycle and not get stuck there. First of all, you're never late to the party. Art is always evolving and changing. You could look at any point in history for proof of that. The idea that you're too late is taking a narrow perspective on something much bigger. And I absolutely sympathize with anybody who falls into that trap, because I absolutely did myself. When I started trying to put stuff out into the world, I kind of had this little voice in my head that told me I was too late. But you can't listen to that voice. Another really important thing to keep in mind is that likes and followers are quantitative measures. And I say that because it's important to divorce it from qualitative measures. By that I mean that just because something gets a lot of likes or follows doesn't necessarily say anything about the depth of the impact that it's having. And it's really important to keep that in mind, because it's much harder to track that in terms of numbers. And in fact, in many ways, having a small, intimate community can be more powerful than having an enormous platform. Finally, it's really important to mention this. No person in the history of all of humanity has the exact same combination of personal life experiences, conversations with other people, memories, shower thoughts, etc. And that basically means that just by virtue of existing, you have something original to offer the world. Really just briefly touching on criticism, I think if you put stuff out there for long enough, inevitably you will have to encounter very real criticism from other people out in the world. It is a fact of life that you cannot please everybody, and the more quickly you can learn and understand that and accept that, the less you're going to drive yourself absolutely crazy. The reason I think this is the way it is because as long as you're authentically sharing what's important to you in a creative sense, there's a level of vulnerability associated with that, which in my view means you're doing things right, you're approaching things the right way, but it can leave you feeling exposed. And that's why feedback can hurt sometimes. And just keeping that in mind can help, I think, in so many ways to stay the course and understand that, you know what, this is okay, this is normal. In fact, I think whenever something's really popular and doesn't seem to receive much criticism, it's gotta be so bland that it's not really saying anything. And that's another thing to just keep in mind. Art, one of the most beautiful things about art is that it can move people, it can challenge ideas. And simply because of that, you always run the risk of encountering criticism. Everybody's journey looks different, and it is scary to leap into the unknown. That's an inevitable truth, I think. But there are a few things that you can do to give yourself better odds. It is my belief that you already have that voice within yourself. It's not about finding it, it's about developing skills and the tools to better listen to that voice and gain better access to it.